Now an upgrade to winter storm warnings for parts of the state. For the metro area, chilly weather and then better rain chances moving in. 51 degrees right now. Winds are calm for now, and temperatures will warm slowly as we head through the day and then drop as we head into the afternoon. So this is a breakdown of the day for the metro area. Partly to mostly cloudy skies. Mid-50s for your 9 o'clock hour, 67 for your lunch hour, and then falling off into the upper 50s and low 60s. So a little chillier as you head home. And again, you will have to watch for some scattered showers, all in the liquid form here. But we do have some changes to talk about, of course, across the north and the northeast. This is a look at Doppler radar right now, and we're going to go ahead and talk about the watches and warnings that have been upgraded in this area. And the areas that you see here in pink, those are actually winter storm warnings. That is from now until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And what we're looking at is 6 to 10 inches of snow for the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. 10,000 feet right now, but falling to all locations by sunset, and the area is highlighted in pink. And so travel in the high country, you can expect heavy snow right around 6 p.m. and just getting heavier through the overnight hours. And then areas highlighted here in blue, those are winter weather advisories. And those also go for the Northeast Highlands and also parts of the Upper Rio Grande Valley. That will expire at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, and that's where we're going to be looking at anywhere from 1 to 3 inches of snow and perhaps up to 6 inches of snow along ridge tops. So we're going to be looking at very heavy snow moving in later this afternoon. First starting off as rain, changing over into snow in the lower terrain, and again the snow level dropping through the day. Santa Fe even looking at some snow as we head toward tomorrow morning. I'll break it all down for you coming up.
All right, thank you, Kristen. Much more on the weather in just a few minutes. But now, dozens of unoccupied Albuquerque protesters arrested overnight, let out in handcuffs from the University of New Mexico campus. It's when they refused police orders to leave Yale Park. This is all because the permit that the group had to stage there, it expired at 10 o'clock last night. News 13's David Romero is live at UNM this morning with more. Good morning, David.
Well, good morning, Matt. It's quite a world of difference now than what it was just hours earlier. Take a look behind me right now. You can see what is left of the protesters here near Yale Park. The park itself is cleared. The stragglers are just now on the sidewalk. It was quite a scene earlier here overnight. As the presence of onlookers grew, so did the number of police. Now, the unoccupied Albuquerque protesters knew their deadline to get off campus was at 10. But many chose to stay even though the alternative was arrest. A small group of 20 to 30 sat peacefully in a circle, laughing, singing, even chanting. And that's when police moved in, giving verbal warnings. When the group refused to disperse, one by one, they were led away from the circle, some going peacefully as they agreed to do, some resisted and had to be restrained. By this point, many onlookers and student residents from campus who had nothing to do with the movement cluttered the area and had to be moved back towards Central.
I walk by it every day, but I never really knew, so now we're just...
Kind of gawking?
Yeah, kind of just like, we can't believe it's actually happening.
And of course, this prompted Albuquerque police in riot gear to control the crowd. The onlookers continued to taunt police, but no violence escalated. Protesters say this is all part of getting their message out.
I think it's important to have a presence here and let people know that this movement is still going. We don't have a permit, but we're going to keep meeting during the day.
Now, the group had been told that even though they had a permit to be on campus during the day, it is policy from UNM that no one could be there at night after 10 o'clock. Now, they did meet with UNM President David Schmidley yesterday, but the school says either way, it is too dangerous to have them out here day or night. Matt, back to you.
Thank you very much, David. Now, later today, we expect to learn from APD the exact number of people that they arrested there overnight. And about 30 minutes after all that happened, what David showed you, once things had calmed down, I went out to UNM to go talk with the protesters who are still there and try to understand their thoughts on everything that had happened in the past few weeks, and especially last night. Now, by this time, a lot of them had gone home, but there were still about 100 or so there. Obviously, here they're on the sidewalks in the center divider where they were legally allowed to be. There were also a lot of police out there, too. Some still had their shields and the batons. They were about 5 to 10 feet away from the protesters, as they are kind of back up against the UNM campus. And from what I saw, everyone was relatively calm at this time. They were just talking with each other and then watching. Police were there watching, making sure everyone was safe. And then the protesters, they were just kind of gathered in groups and talking with each other. Why did you guys decide not to stay in the circle then with those who did and stay on the campus?
Not to be arrested. Yeah, like I wanted to stay out of principle, but I didn't have my ID with me, and I do a lot on campus. Like I need to be here tomorrow.
Do you think that what happened tonight with getting asked to leave the property at UNM, a number of people getting arrested and having a lot of police out here, does that help or hurt the movement in terms of what people think and what people see when they think about you guys?
I don't know. I'm hoping that they'll ask themselves why they didn't jolly well come out. But that might not happen. I don't know. I can't speak for them. And that's actually cool.
I also asked the protesters, where does the movement go from here, as they call it? And they say they're going to be on the sidewalk all day today. And as for tonight, they're really not sure yet. But they say that this is definitely not the end of what they're doing. Now, meanwhile, the Occupy Wall Street protesters, this is going on all over the country. In California, here in Oakland, they're refusing to back down. Hundreds of them marched through downtown Oakland last night. And this happened just hours after police arrested dozens of protesters for refusing to leave their camp at City Hall. The protesters eventually made their way back to City Hall where, once again, police blocked them. And the same thing is going on out east in Atlanta, too. Dozens of police officers marched into a park there, leading some of the Occupy Wall Street protesters away. They've been ordered to get out of that camp or get arrested. There are reports that more than 50 were taken to jail there overnight. And stay with News 13 throughout the day as the Unoccupy Albuquerque protests and arrests continue to develop. We'll have much more information on this as we go through the day. Well, there are other headlines developing for you this morning. Let's get caught up in your morning news blitz. Deming Schools now has new rules for the bus system after illegal immigrants were able to get on school buses at least twice. Last month, illegal immigrants entered the U.S. and then boarded a school bus in Deming. The district eventually discovered who the people were and turned them over to the U.S. Border Patrol. The controversial Adult Film Festival is a no-go once again, and the people who wanted it here blame it on the city of Albuquerque. Organizers of Pornotopia said they couldn't find a place to have the controversial adult movie program, so they had to cancel it. Come November 1st, the Bernalillo County Water Utility Authority will tap back into the Rio Grande for its water supply. In September, the agency stopped taking water from the river because of ash and debris from runoff from the Las Conchas fire and low water levels because of irrigation season. And President Obama says the U.S.'s role in bringing down Libya's former leader, Muammar Gaddafi, is a, quote, recipe for success. The president was on the late-night show Jay Leno last night and said there wasn't a single U.S. troop on the ground and no one from the U.S. was killed. And that is your Wednesday morning news blitz.